See now, you have all embarked on an adventure of healing, art of healing, right? You want to heal. And I will heal you if you heal, really. And, see, what happens is we all have potentials inside. We are born with all the potentials. And we don't know those potentials. Some are applied potentials, some are applicable potentials. See, now here the potentials you applied yourself, and that's the reason you have taken the occasion of healing art. It's an art. It's a great art. Healing is a great art. And I was taught about this healing art when I was 5 years old from my grandmother. She was a great healer. And then I happened to meet very luminaries of the world like Mahatma Gandhi and Aurobindo and Raman Maharshi and all those when I was 7 or 8 years old. So they said, my mother used to say, they all blessed you. Okay, that blessing has brought me to different countries of the world, different parts of the world, and ultimately brought to Santa Fe and Oklahoma. See, I am a Okie, really. And then there is a Santa Fean, secondary. Now I may become a Santa Fean first and Okie secondary. See, all interchanges, all those things. Now you have come from different parts of the country with an intention of learning many things to help you in your profession and make you real healers. Now I am telling you, as I said, the potential. Now you have a potential. It is unlimited, they say. I don't know, but it's unlimited, they say. You have unlimited potential and an unlimited capacity to heal or do whatever you want to do. You can. So a healer, in my opinion, needs some qualifications, right? Not going to Shears Academy or something like that. That is one of the qualifications. You get there. You get a certificate and all those things. But you have to certify yourself, sincerely yourself you have to certify as a healer. How will you do that? So there is a healing art. It all starts with the word D, which is the fourth letter of the English alphabet, D. First is dedication. You are dedicated to whatever you want to do, the healing art, whatever it is. You must dedicate it to it. Then you should have a determination, right? This all starts from D, the fourth letter of the English alphabet, see? All D, 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 D. Okay, there are 5 Ds. Okay, so of course the dull is also comes from D, that's different. I'm not talking about dullness. But this is a mind which is surcharged with the enthusiasm. Enthusiasm means entheoism, that is God-loving disposition. Because in everybody, as Patricia said, there is God in everybody, and everybody is in God. It's a very funny thing, right? God is in everybody, and everybody is in God. That's a very funny combination. I don't know how that works, but it is said like that. I don't know. It may be my experience sometimes, and I said so many things what she said. They don't give me so much credit for all those things, because So therefore I said in the beginning, on the onset, I said that my presence here is circumstantial. As you are all circumstantially here, We never thought over it 6 months ago, or 3 months ago, or 2 months ago that you would all come here and grace this occasion and help me to say a few words, from my heart. So now, discrimination, determination, right? Dedication, discrimination, determination. And there is another thing is very important to that is the drive. You must have a drive to do that. If there is no drive, you cannot do anything. Then you will be driven. See, like the advertisement of Subaru or whatever it is, Nissan, driven. So you drive whatever you have inside, right? So there's you have that drive to do that. And then, of all things, You must have the dexterity to do that. You must be dexterous to do all those things. Now your potential are there. You are born with the potentials, but you cannot estimate your potentials by sitting in a corner of a world somewhere, and you can't unless you put it to test, right? You have to put it to test this potential. So you have applied. That's applied potential you have got inside. It's already applied to your life and all those things. But there is applicable. There is a portion of it is left over is called applicable potentials, which can be applicable. You must discriminate where you can apply this potential and show the greatest, light from it, where you can apply it. I started talking in English. I thought I wouldn't. Okay. You understand my English? I'm talking in English, okay? And so, without accent, nobody can speak. Can anybody speak without accent? No, what?
Oklahoma accent?
Oh, yeah, Oklahoma accent, whatever it is.
Maybe put it up the Scottish accent.
Yeah.
It's a funny Scottish accent.
David? Yeah.
No, you.
Oh, Scottish. Oh, no, that's not here. I don't want it.
You don't want to demonstrate? Unless you pull out. Pretty fun.
I should not.
Not right now.
I should not expose my inferiority to them, So those are the 5 Ds, you must always follow. And this I'm giving you, it's not an advice, suggestion, okay? I'm not giving you advice, it's just a suggestion. I am a very suggestible person, and I receive suggestions from all the people in the world, So, whether I carry it or not, that's a different thing. But there is another person there, they're called Lynn Walters, She had a very great restaurant in Santa Fe called Natural Cafe. You never know that. But, that was one of the famous things, and all people are asking her to give the title of it, and she refused to give. So that's a good thing she did. She's still a natural cafe. So that's the best natural food, you had not only in Santa Fe, but anywhere. The best thing she did. And I was a cook there, Yeah. I was a cook I didn't have any job, so I became a cook. So there are so many, funny things I can tell you what happened in my life. But I hope, I know you will laugh and go away and forget about it, So so the potential, and then you have the capacity and capabilities, the capacity to work. And what you need is, one is strength. You have to build up your strength to carry out your schemes in life. Scheme, it's not a bad word, but scheming is something bad. But scheme in life is not a bad word, Now, how will you consciously adapt yourself to your consciousness? How can you consciously adapt yourself to your consciousness? Have you seen your consciousness? Anybody has seen your consciousness? You know what it is? No. See? And this is a very funny thing about this life is, we hear and read about conscious and unconscious, and so many things we read and hear. Great people have talked about it, like Freud and Jung and all those great psychologists have talked about the conscious, unconscious, dream and visions and all. Dreams are okay. You can dream whole night, you can dream. Don't dream in the morning. Daytime, don't dream. That's called daydreaming. You see, daydreaming is not so good. But night, you can dream the whole night. It's wonderful. You will enjoy it. What happens in life, generally what happens is, we have mostly daydreams. See, right? And we, in the night, what do? We fantasize. We think about all the fantasies, goes on. We fantasize in the night and hallucinate in the daytime. That's what you do. You know, that's to call our dreams, right? We hallucinate. Out of hallucination, you get some kind of knowledge. It comes out. You know, like so many people write books and everything. That's actually outcome of hallucination. I'm telling you this truth. This is the truth I'm telling you. This outcome of hallucination. And we follow somebody's hallucination. So how can you follow your dreams? You can't. You have dreams, you forget those dreams. See, because those are fantasies you go through in the night. What I am going to do tomorrow, after and day after I am going to do this and that, and then I'll find a good man and may propose marriage to him, and he will be on his knees and ask me, will you marry me, please? Yeah. So it is very important to have a very strong constitution. You have to build up your strength. That is, in Sanskrit they call it dhrati. Dhrati means the strength you have to build up. And you must have smriti. You must have the memory also. You must remember things. See? And memory is for those who forget. Okay? So you must remember things always. Otherwise need a memory. Memory is for those who forget. It's always, see, I tell you. So, when you have that strength and a kind of daredevil attitude you must have in life. Otherwise you will be crushed by everybody. You see, you will be downtrodden by everybody. Everybody will say, I am better than you, I am better than you. So you must be able to, not to contest that statement, but you must rise above all those things, know in yourself that you are better. Don't compare yourself to anybody. Comparison is the worst thing human beings do. This whole fighting and everything going on in the world is because of comparison. You compare. All politicians compare all the time. And we compare all the time we compare. And comparison brings sorrow. So don't compare yourself. Be yourself. Totally be yourself without any comparison. And then you must have the vision. Vision is one thing I tell you, dreams are very harmless, I tell you. Even though you hallucinate, whatever you do, it's okay. Dreams are harmless. You don't act on the dreams. But the visions are very dangerous, I tell you. And you always say, I have a vision of doing this, I have to do this. They are very dangerous. They create all the problems. The visions have created a lot of problems. And as Gibbs said, Mahatma Gandhi, he had the vision and a dream also. But what happened was, he wanted a united India, but he divided it. Just opposite. Because the visions clash. Visions always clash. Visions clash against visions, and you become disillusioned, actually. So, and the third thing is, of course, I gave 5 Ds, and these are the subtitles of my my talk, subtitles of my story. See, the subtitle is strength. You must have strength and increase your capability to understand and to enhance yourself. And I'll tell you one thing. After World War II, I was in India actually, and I was traveling some places, mostly England and all those. And there was a youth movement. After the World War II, there was terrible devastation, in Europe and even in Asia. So many things were, even Calcutta was bombed, the Indian city was bombed by Japanese, And my father had a great godown there. Godown means a huge storage of all the spices. They used to deal in spices, and it was burnt. They lost about 12 million, So they became poor, as a matter of fact. Now the youth movement, it started in the mostly, just when Hitler was being defeated, and the youth movement started, and they wanted to have a prosperous world without any strife or anything, and a prosperous world. That they call a third world. We must have a third world. This first world has first World War, second world has the Second World War, So third world, they wanted to, with no wars and everything, and they wanted to build up the strength and an indomitable nature and become, something, a kind of a leaders of the world, youth movement. What happened to that youth movement? The idea was very good. They started with a good idea, and it's all over the world, especially Europe and the United States it was. And what happened the movement went on without any kind of progress. Ultimately, they became hippies. Hippies? That means, I'll tell you this, English word, if you see in not Webster dictionary, Oxford dictionary, you find hippie means dirty. So became dirty people. Without any clothes, they used to walk on the streets and everything, and promiscuity and all those things developed. And then people developed diseases because of the promiscuity, they developed diseases. Instead of becoming what the Hitler called the Aryan youth, they became diseased people. See, that's what the movement did. So these are all fads we generally, sometimes we follow. Therefore, what I say is, be your guide, be your mentor, be yourself, your mentor, and be your teacher, be yourself, your guide actually, the guidance you get from yourself. For that, what you should do, now see what happened. Then this, after the hippie movement came this New Age. New Age, they were called the New Age guidelines for disaster. Okay, that's what happened. And then what happens is that now the healing. Then when I came in Santa Fe, I tell you, in the 80s, I came first to Santa Fe in the 80s, and I didn't try, Suddenly I had people calling from, Dr. Sharaf, your academy, they called me in the beginning, 20 years ago. And they had also divided themselves. And Scott Gershon had another, college of his. And they wanted me to teach there. And I was the highly paid person, I tell you. And they used to pay other teachers $6. They paid me $20. And also transport. I didn't have a car. So they gave me a transport from my house to the place and bring me back. All those things they did. And one day, the founder of the academy, where you studied, he was a very good friend of mine. He was getting older and senile, in a sense. And one day, he came to know of me and said, he called me and I went to his office and everything was in the residence, And he tell me what is wrong with me. I said, what is this? I go to see him, he says, tell me what is wrong with me. I have to accept the challenge. As Deep was telling, you have to accept the challenge. Whether you want, you'll succeed in the challenge or not. Then that's why you must have confidence in yourself. You must know your potential so well. See, so then I told him, okay, lie on the bench. He had that bed there, that he used to massage and everything he used to do. I had to lie on that. So I saw his pulse. And I have come from the east, and west was not different to me, because I was mostly mixed with the Europeans, as a matter of fact, especially the British, who were the rulers of India. And I didn't have any quarrel with them, but I became their advisor, as a matter of fact. So I told him, lie down. I his pulse. Doctor, you don't have one kidney. He was surprised. He was so surprised. My God, how do you know I don't have a kidney? He said, that is not there. Your pulse shows that. And he said, will you please work for me in my academy? He said, will you please work for it? I said, no. I can only diagnose you. You don't have a kidney. And, he became a friend of mine, and he used to come to all the satsangs. We used to have different different parts of in Santa Fe, in many houses we did, and he used to come all the time. He used to attend that, And one thing, I told him, why don't you drink a glass of milk? Oh, that's an enemy. Milk is an enemy to me. I can't drink milk, because he had a prejudice against milk. In somehow, that would have helped him in many ways. He didn't drink milk, and when he died, I drank a glass of milk in his name. Right? Yeah, in his name. Yeah. We have taken a step forward to learn the art of healing. It's a good art. I tell you, it's a good art. It will really help people. And then what happened? I forgot to tell you one thing. After the hippie movement and the healing and the new age, everything came. And what happened? The whole became a massage, and that was a facade. Okay, massage became a facade. Yeah, facade. And so what I used to tell them, it is not rubbing the body. The massage is just not rubbing the body. And then what you do? You rubbing the body, and you disturb the mind. Just see that. Just think about it. Okay. So it is not that. It is aligning the energies of the body and revamping the mind's capacity. Advancement is revamping it. Right? Yeah. So it is the difference between all those things. What you learn, what you are taught. She's a good teacher, I tell you. And Patricia, they are good teachers. They have. I have got great confidence in them. I can certify. They are good teachers. I can certify in my dream. Okay, even in my dream, may not be in my vision, but in a dream. They are good teachers. Good teachers. Because I know them for the last 20 years. 20 years. It's a long time to know somebody for 20 years, still be friends. With all my capacity to.
Lynn also.
Oh yes, Lynn and Sandy and Patricia and a lot of other people also. So because I generally knock off the dreams. And it's very hard. If you knock a person out of the dream, my God, it's very hard. You see, and still they are friends, So that means I got some greater capacity. I think so, right?
He's a really good teacher.
So, now I have got some time. I'm limited by time. There is an MC, that I have to follow the MC. What? It's finished? Time is finished. Right.
Whenever you're ready. Just hoping that you'll do another benediction.
Benediction.
Ready.
Yeah, we have got some sweet to eat. Okay, ice cream and all those things. She has brought some ice cream. Camille has brought some ice cream. That David's sister, sitting there in the corner. She doesn't want to be advertise herself, so she brought, and she told me in my ears, I brought 4 types of ice cream. 4 or 5 types. You'll enjoy it. So now, so what is actually? It is the alignment of the. We have got forces in ourselves. And if you ask psychologists, you have got forces that really block your progress also. They are the demonical forces, you say. But then we have got good forces, divine forces, So you have to nurse that force and nourish them to such an extent they really become divine. You all become divine. And divine is a word which very often used. Of course, God is something they don't use nowadays. They started using divine, and that has become corrupt also. And now God become corrupt, divine become corrupt. Demons are ultimately they're totally corrupt. And then we human beings, we are called human beings. Corruption is not one of the qualifications God has endowed us with. It's not a qualification, corruption. So, as human beings, we are we have access to everything. As human beings, we have access to everything, all knowledge. We have access to all knowledge. It's not only healing knowledge, not only nursing knowledge, knowledge of the professional doctors and everything. All this knowledge, we have got access to all this. Not only that, we have access to the knowledge that is hidden inside us. And that we have got access to that knowledge also. That is your own knowledge. You must know that has come to you from your birth. And I hope if you remember everything, you are very calm and cool and happy in the mother's womb. Don't you think so? Or you are fluttering and doing some, of course, you are kicking and all this. That is afterwards it comes. Kicking is one of the good things, There are healers. They are called shamans. They came from Siberia, India, and all those places, and they are great psychologists. I tell you, it's not. They didn't know much of medicines. Of course, I didn't know medicines. If you take penicillin, I think it does more harm than good. I tell you those things. But it is helpful in so many ways. It is helpful. If you have some kind of infection and everything, it really helps. So you have to do that because we are living in a time where the science has predominated our living conditions, and you have to use all those things to help. So don't be completely closed. You say, this is the only way that you will be healed. No. All things, you have to consider all things. See, you must approach every possible way of helping a person who is suffering. And to relieve the suffering, you have to revamp, as I said, the mind of the person. Revamp the resources that are in the mind of the person, because mind has a great influence on the body. If you don't mind, body doesn't matter. It matters? No. If you don't mind, it doesn't matter. So, and you must mind everything that matters. Right? Yeah. Then you must have they have got, are you working now or just?
Yeah, they're all professionals. They just come for
Professionals.
oncology,
Yeah.
massage nurses and massage therapists.
Yes. And you are listening an unprofessional person.
I shouldn't say a professional. That's not what you want to say. All healer. They are in the nice helping people. They help people.
Good. That's good.
Healing.
That's really good. I like that, that when you help people, I like when you help.
Helped 18 people today.
But all those 5 things I said, you must help yourself with that. And then you can help the 6th thing, you can help the people. You see, 6th thing is yourself, okay? And so you have got 5 senses, and people are always, now the New Age people are talking about 6th sense. 6th sense. Right? 6th sense, 6th sense. 5 senses you have, 6th sense. And I tell people, it is for those who have lost all the 5 senses. If you lose all your 5 senses, you need the 6th sense. I don't know what it is. Right? So
Very good statement.
there are certain things, you have to learn about the body, because there are, I can demonstrate those things to you, but there is no time now. We have no time, no time. As if we possess time. Any time did we have possessed time, like $1 bill or something like that?
The
No.
best time.
I can say I don't have money. I can have time. Time. We don't possess it anyway. So there are so many things. You press a certain point in the body, it reacts somewhere else. And the back, it goes to the feet. And if you touch a point in the feet, because the feet has everything in that. Feet has everything in that. It's the whole spectrum of human life. I mean life connected to, not the life in general, it's connected to you. The condition called life, that is there. Every point, a different point to touch, it has a different effect. So many places. Yeah. You want to kick somebody or what?
No, I'm showing them. They know. They do.
Yeah, you know that. So there is a, so I cannot demonstrate now, at this session. If you come some other time, I can do that. And best thing is the Halloween day, that's you come with all the costumes and everything, we can press all the points.
And they, and I told them that when you had us do it, how the chants actually help the cells.
Oh yes,
heal.
they all help because they are the vibratory things,
They vibrate.
That vibratory things, and different chants have a different effect on a different part of the body, chants. And we have made a CD for the oncology patients, the cancer patients, and it really helped a lot of people. It really helped a lot of people,
Psychology patients too.
Yeah, and oh yes, psychology patients, and yeah. Well, it's not just knowing psychology is important. It is knowing the ecology of psychology. There's something called ecology of psychology. She is a great psychologist. She is a great psychologist, and sometimes I asked her to therapeutically treat me. She refused. He said, "You don't fit into any psychological affair." That's called psychological, models. I don't fit into any psychological model, so I am beyond psychology.
That one's told him he talks like a sociopath and he acts like a saint. That was just a certain reference to a certain thing.
And one thing about all the physical symptoms and everything has something to do. It's what you call the beyond the physical sphere. That's called preternatural, meanings to all those things. It's beyond the psychological, physiological, biological, and what are the other things? Ecological, and what else?
Maniacal.
Maniacal.
No, that word, if you use that fits into megalomania. In that means one thinks oneself as something else than what person is. That is megalomania, you see. And that was one of the diseases Freud had. And so I never met him because he died before I wanted to see him. I don't know why I wanted to see him, but I, of course.
You didn't have a hysterical neurosis.
But Jung, I was supposed to see him in 1961. He was supposed to come to India, and he died before he reached India. So that's gone also. I couldn't see these people. That's because it's a very funny thing. I couldn't see any psychologist, except Patricia, an Indian psychologist.
As a patient. So me as a patient.
So now see, as I said, this stretches beyond the worldly factors. This healing or the symptoms have a root in somewhere which is not the world. It is beyond that, beyond nature. What you call nature, you have. It's beyond this nature. So human beings have a nature of their own. That's the inner nature, what you call. So that nature is not different from the outside nature, but it has got inner meaning. It is not, see, you expand externally, right? That is extrovert. You become extroverts and try to expand externally. And there is an inner expansion also. That inner expansion is, you cannot see it, but you can only experience it, that inner expansion, what you call. And the dreams, the good dreams you have, not the hallucinations, that comes from that internal expansion. That comes from that internal. That's what a great scientist, David Bohm, called it, the implicate order. Implicate order. So we get caught up in the explicate order and say that's the only one we have got, nothing else. But there is something called implicate order and the supplicate order, and both orders are higher orders. They're higher. And if you once get caught up in that, you will not lose yourself, I tell you. Because people are very much afraid, I may become a lunatic. You'll not become a lunatic. But that's, if you get caught up in those two orders, supplicate and implicate orders, you have the total expansion. Total expansion. It's not the external expansion what you want to do. You think of having external expansion and all those things. You try for those things. Here there is no trying. Ultimately you become totally expanded. So your consciousness, your, and emotional touches, what you call, you have got emotional touches and emotional pinpoints and emotional knots. And when you get caught up in that, the emotional knots and everything, there is always a condition called melancholy. That's the Greek word, of course. Came from the Greek word. It's a psychological word. You become prone to melancholy, right? Then you put your head down and sit there, Instead of seeing anybody, you sit there. You are melancholy. You don't want to see anything. You have no interest in anything. See? So, you don't think you have become an introvert. No. You become melancholy. And that's the worst disease, I tell you. It will bring, and I think Sandy has learned so many things, not only the physical symptoms and all those things, but the psychological symptoms and, internal symptoms, what you have. And those symptoms cannot be treated by these medications, herbs and all those things. See? How can you treat it? Only understanding yourself. Understanding yourself, you have to apply, that's what I call applied potential. That potential you have. You apply that potential to yourself. You are applicable to applied potential. So that you have to apply to yourself. And those potentials are very great, I tell you. And they always say you can conquer the 3 worlds provided you have that potential understood. You recognize first, you understand that, totally understand that potential. And when you understand that, you shine. You don't have a sad face sitting like this. You don't have. You always there's a smile. There's a smile. And when you come into contact with the people, that heals them. You must know that. That heals them. And it's not you're not using any medicine. You are the yardstick of the healing. Your potential is the main. Categorically, you can heal a person just coming into contact. So that you have to develop, I tell you. That's for the healer's main thing. What I find is, you go into a lot of, extraneous activities and all those things, the healing process. But that's the one thing when you just come near the person. And another thing is Deepa, Dupa and all those things we call. It's also started with DDD all. You see, it's da 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 da, DDD, dim, dikada, dim. Yeah, come on. And so, what happens is, there is when you enter your therapy room, you must have a therapy room in the house or office or whatever it is, where you get the patients. First you have to entertain them, you see. Not to drag them inside and lie down on the cot. No, that's not. No, that's not it, So, you have to light a candle. That's deeper. That's light. That's the mellow light. You have to light a candle. And dhupa is incense. If somebody is allergic to incense, don't incense them by lighting it. So that's okay. But have a light. Nobody is, nobody is against light, giving a candle. Candle. Then you have an attitude. A healer's attitude is one of the attitude fully composed. You are fully composed. You are not fragmented. You are fully composed with everything. That's called the healer's attitude. Fully composed. All the parts of your body, mind and soul are in full gear. That is alignment. So when you have that, your patient will be aligned. Will be aligned. So that's this is the important thing I am telling you. How you can heal a patient. You can have all the paraphernalia you can have. You can have a plant, a flower, a tree, all those things. In the office you can have a tree even. That is different. But this is the attitude, okay? The mental attitude of a healer is the holiest of all the holy speeches and words and methods and everything. It's a very holy thing. So you become a holy person. It's not somebody who is sitting in the Himalayas or in Timbuktu. It's not a holy person. You become a holy person. You have a right to be holy. That's your birthright, to be holy and whole. And healing is nothing but making a person whole. Unless you become whole, you cannot make a person whole. You know, right? So you must be. That you have to develop first in yourself, and you become healers. Healers of great magnitude, I tell you. And always the divine, or the God, whatever you call, will bless you with all the beauty and wonders of the world that you are. You are the wonders of the world, beauty of the world. And paragon of all virtues. That's 16.
प्रातर्भजामि धात्रीं समस्तजगतां दुरितापहन्त्रीं संसारबन्धनविमोचनहेतुभूतां प्रातर्भजामि संसारबन्धनविमोचनहेतुभूतां मायां परां समधिगम्य परस्य विष्णो मायां परां समधिगम्य परस्य विष्णो प्रातस्मरामि प्रातस्मरामि प्रातर्भजामि प्रातस्मरामि प्रातर्नमामि प्रातर्भजामि प्रातस्मरामि प्रातर्नमामि प्रातर्भजामि शरदिन्दुकरोज्ज्वलाभां संसारबन्धनविमोचनहेतुभूतां